Identifying the strongest stocks in the stock market is actually extremely easy to do. You can simply add a filter to your scanner that only shows stocks with an RSI value greater than 80. Then you would add the RSI column to said watch list and sort top down. From there, you have a list of extremely strong stocks. But these stocks have already made massive moves. Is there a way that we can objectively identify stocks before they make these moves? To find stocks in this area, unfortunately, you would need a time machine. So instead, in today's video, we are going to identify this candle here. If we can find a way to scan for the first candle of a larger move, we can improve our trading. And in today's video, I am going to cover and build 5 ways that we can do this, and that 5th way has an 87% win rate of objectifying further parabolic moves. Method number 1 is going to be based on my custom study you see running on the chart here. What this study is doing is it is painting candles based off of their relative volume. If the candle has extremely high volume relative to the candles before it, and the candle is bullish, then it gets painted blue. If the candle is bearish, then it gets painted this yellow color. While that study in and of itself is cool, the important part is the volume. Basic law of supply and demand: the more demand there is for a product, or in our case, a stock, the higher the price will go. So let's go ahead and build a scan filter that only returns us stocks that are currently trading very high relative volume. I've got a couple of basic stock filters running, and I will run these on every single scanner we build today. These are just simply to sort of keep the riffraff out. This close must have an existing price, basically. The market cap must be existing, basically. This is just to keep a lot of the NA results out of our scan, and the minimum volume must be 500,000. Feel free to adjust your stock filter parameters to whatever kinds of stocks you would like to trade, but for the meat and potatoes of the 5 strategies we're going to cover today, we will be adding study filters. And for this first one on relative volume, I will come into the pencil of said filter and into the ThinkScript editor, and we want to see current bar volume is greater than the volume average based off of the last bar. You can't compare it to the current volume average as it doesn't yet exist, so you never return true. And then I want to multiply this by 2. So first thing to talk about, this volume average study has a default length of 50. So it's taking the average volume over the last 50 bars and multiplying that by 2. Then if the day's current volume is greater than that, this stock will be returned in the scanner. Go ahead and run this. We've just dropped down from like 1,400 stocks or something down to only 65. I have also sorted my scan results by ascending volume, meaning the stocks trading the highest volume here will appear at the top. The stocks with the most demand appearing at the top of the scanner. Let's go ahead and begin clicking through a couple of the stocks here. UOKA, and I have gone ahead and turned on the volume average study as well. That will be this yellow line you see here. As you can see, huge volume today, way over more than 2 times its average volume. Next is HCWB, huge volume today. And the third one we'll look at is TNXP, huge volume today. But what is a major problem that you just noticed with all 3 of the stocks that we took a look at? They are all down on the day, right? They all got some kind of like news, and the first 2 gapped up, the third one gapped down, but getting some kind of market structure news that is changing the way they are valued and then sort of falling off based off of that, sort of reverting back to the mean. Well, that's not very indicative of parabolic continuation. So we are going to come in and add our second study filter to the scanner to help correct that. Pretty simply, I want to build a filter that checks that the current price is above the opening price of the same candle. So essentially the candle is green rather than red. So I'm going to add a second study filter. Once again, click on the pencil of said filter, and in the ThinkScript editor, we are going to simply do close is greater than open. Within ThinkorSwim, and you're in an active trading day, right now it's 12:30, so of course the market's open, close will be representative of the current price as well. So if I hit OK, you'll notice we go from 65 stocks now down to only 35. And if I begin clicking through some of these, we should see once again both still that heavy volume, that heavy demand, and now only green candles. So first we've got IVVD. This is more so what I'm talking about. Big volume candle, big green candle. These are the types of things that maybe, once again, of course, not always, stocks that are appearing on the scanner or any scanner we build today are far from guaranteed to continue to go parabolic. But these are the kind of stocks you want to be keeping an eye on for that potential opportunity, correct? Next, let's talk about RSI again, the relative strength index calculation. We talked about at the beginning of this video how you can use the value of the relative strength index to determine when stocks are strong. However, as mentioned in the intro, that is often to objectify when stocks have already been strong rather than are necessarily strong right now. However, there is still a way that we can make use of this study to identify current strength. And that is, rather than caring about what the current value of the RSI is, we are going to look at the rate of change of the RSI. Let's take a look back at the stock that we just identified using the previous volume parameter. The current value of the RSI on this bar is 73. That's great, that's fine, that's dandy. What I'm more worried about for building the next scanner is that the RSI value on the previous day was only 36. That is like a 37-point difference in one candle on the RSI, and we can use that to objectify current strength. We can build this condition pretty easily. Back within the scan tab, we are once again going to add a study filter and come into the pencil of said filter and into the ThinkScript editor. What we're going to do to objectify this value is we are going to call in the RSI value from the current bar. We are going to then subtract the RSI value from the previous bar, and then we will say that value must be greater than 10. Essentially, the RSI change between today and yesterday must be at least 10 points. If we go ahead and run this scanner, let's take a look through some of the results that we are receiving. Of course, I see IVVD being returned on this scanner, which is, of course, the stock we've been talking about in our examples. However, I once again see stocks like UOKA. Once again, these stocks that have made big moves, yes, but lack intraday continuation. So let's once again come back in and just create that study filter that says that the bar must also be green on the day. Remember, that simple equation is close greater than open. Let's run this scanner, and now we should see some results that are higher likelihood for parabolic continuation. So IVVD, we've already been talking about. Next on the list now is SOPA. Go take a look at this one. Huge move. This one actually would have been on both scanners we've built today. This one would have been on those lists yesterday. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. This stock would have been on both scanners we built so far yesterday before having a 48% gain today, and it actually was much greater at one point. At one point today, it was up over 80%. You see, you kind of got that trigger candle yesterday, and because today's candle is still so big, you're still counting this as a trigger candle for these scanners, but nice to see that follow through example there. Next, we've got ZBAI. Here's one, once again, getting a huge trigger candle on the day. Previous parabolic runner. Let's see if they can do it again after this trigger candle. The next way that we will identify likely parabolic candidates is by simply utilizing price action. We're going to say, hey, the current price is above all recent highs. To build this back within our scan tab, once again, of course, adding a study filter and into the pencil and ThinkScript editor of said filter is once again pretty simple. The current price represented in ThinkorSwim by close is greater than. We are going to now utilize an action function called highest, which accepts two parameters. The first parameter being a value. I want to see the highest high value. Separate your parameters with a comma. And the second being length. So the highest high value out of the last how many bars, we're going to go with 10, and we need to once again offset this value all by 1 because of course the current price will never be greater than the own candle's high, right? That's impossible. So offset this value by 1 so the comparison makes sense. Let's go ahead and run this scanner. And once again, we're getting those UOKA HCWB kind of vibes. So once again, maybe I'll just keep this standard for all the scanners I run now. Let's make sure that the close is greater than the open. Let's make sure the candle is currently green. You're once again getting some of those similar results. We've got SOPA, IVVD. Those are two stocks we've already been talking about, but you get some other stuff on there as well. I see REBN. This looks like a really nice move. And once again, it's a move that would have been triggered on all three scanners we built so far today. This stock would have been triggered here on this first green candle. Huge volume. Actually, I'm sort of assuming about the RSI. Let's actually check. Did the RSI value increase by 10 on that candle? Value here is 72. Value before is 58. So yes, it also would have met our RSI standard, and it closed above the highest high value out of the last 10 bars. So you're starting to see some examples now of exactly what I'm talking about. This stock on all three scanners we built today would have been identified here, the closing price of $2.30. And today, 3 days later, it touched $6.80, a 200% move. Anyway, let's take a look down at the next stock, CYCN. This one also breaking local highs. This one also would have been triggered by every scanner we built today. Yesterday, when it closed at $3.92, and today it has pushed up over $5.20. If you're interested in any of the scanners showcased in today's video, they, along with over 100, yes, I said 100 other custom-coded scanners, studies, and even trade strategies, are all available for easy import into your own ThinkorSwim application over on my website, daytradingstrategies.net. Last I counted, there was exactly 107 codes available on the site. And right now, if you use coupon code TRADING to sign up, you're going to get access to all of them for only $30. That is ridiculous value, less than 30 cents a code. Link to the website will be down in the description down below. Go read the reviews, see if it's something that can help accelerate your trading journey. Sign up today and become a better trader. Next, let's build another price action filter, but this time let's talk about intraday strength. So rather than the stock must be greater than previous bars, let's compare the day open and the current price and say that must be greater than a specific value. So obviously, let's add another study filter and let's hop into the ThinkScript editor. And this might be our most complicated code yet, but don't worry, it's still very, very simple. What we need to do here is we need to build the percent change equation, which is not necessarily complicated. The numerator is new value minus original value. You divide all of that by the original value, then of course multiply it by 100 to make it its percent number. So the new value that we want to compare against is the, once again, current price. And we want to take that subtracted from the original value of the opening price of the current candle. I will wrap all of this inside of parentheses so that it is grouped together as the numerator, and we will divide this once again by that original value of open. Then we need to wrap this entire equation in parentheses so that the whole thing gets multiplied by 100. Then let's wrap this whole thing in parentheses once again so that now we can do our scanner check, right? Because now we are returning our percent change results. Great, but what must that value be greater than in order for stocks to be shown in our scan results? Let's go with 10. So the gains intraday to day of the ticker must be greater than 10%. Go ahead and run this scanner, and let's take a look at some of the stocks we've got on here. I see IVVD. Again, of course, this stock is just going ridiculous today, so it's aligning with all parabolic catch scans, which is not a bad thing, right? This stock is ridiculous. You want a stock like this appearing on your scanners for possible continuation. REBN, we've looked at already. NXU, let's go take a look at NXU, okay? This one today, let me hover over here. This one today opened at 26 cents. It is currently trading at 33 cents. If I get a quick check-in here, that is about a 35% gain intraday, of course being much greater than 10%. Next, we've got SGLY. This stock today opened at $1.08. It is currently trading at, it opened at 67 cents. It is currently trading at $1.08. I can do that math quick enough in my head to know that that is a huge number, something like 60%. Once again, obviously much greater than our intraday check of a 10% gain. I know you're thinking it, I'm thinking it too. Trey, what happens if we combine all of these study filters? We have showcased multiple examples throughout this video, even where the candle previously, if triggered by any of the scanners, would have created a massive gain today. So let's now combine all the scanners and see how many stocks we are left with in our scan results. Of course, we have close greater than open. Our percent change intraday must be greater than 10. Volume must be greater than double the volume average over the last 50 bars. The current price must be greater than the highest high value out of the last 10 bars, and the RSI must be 10 points higher than the RSI value from the bar before. Honestly, let's see if any stocks appear on this scanner. Cool. We actually have 4 results. Of course, this is the one we were maybe all expecting, that IVVD, once again popping up, the stock that has been on just about every scanner, and why not? It's going absolutely insane. But I don't know if we've looked at any of these other ones yet. Maybe we have. ATAI, another stock. Huge volume, huge intraday move, breaking local highs. Looks like a very nice setup for potential continuation. Next, CIVX. Okay, here is a really crap one. This one just has a ton of volume, yes, but it's one of these like ugly, choppy, no movement penny stocks. You would just avoid this one, right? Let's move on down to the next one. We've got JVA. This one, okay, I was actually a little scared. I was expecting maybe another crappy one. This one actually looks pretty good. Very heavy volume, very large green candle, breaking over recent highs. Looks like potential continuation. I'll go back and touch on this crappy CIVX stock for a second. It stinks that this one's on there, but unfortunately the volume is still very high on this stock. Like, even though it's not doing anything, it's trading really heavy volume somehow. There's just going to be crap like this out in the stock market. You can't build a scanner that will always avoid all of this crap. All you do is you simply don't add it to your watch list, right? There's gonna be stocks you look at and go, oh, even though it meets all of our conditions, it's crap, so just don't add it to the watch list, right? But now you have a great scanner. You run this right before market close at the end of every single market day. You have built your watch list for stocks that are the most likely, remember that, the most likely, not guaranteed, but the most likely to show continuation and strength the next trading day. We covered multiple different study filters in today's video that will help you identify likely parabolic stocks. And what I'll do is I will upload that final scanner that we built with every single study filter in it so that you can sort of decide to either run that full scanner or pick and choose the study filters that align best with your trading goals. But anyway, guys, importing any of my 100+ custom codes from my website, daytradingstrategies.net, is this easy. Click into our codes, click through like I've done in the background. Every single one of the 100+ codes will come with one of these TOS share links. Copy that back within your ThinkorSwim, set up in the top right, open shared item, paste, preview, and import that TOS URL code, and whether you imported a study, whether you imported a strategy, whether you imported a scanner to add the code to your chart, you simply do it the same way that you would add any other code of that type. DTS Bollinger Break is the one I just imported. As I hit apply, you can now see that custom study running on my chart. It is that easy for you to access all and any of my 100+ custom codes and to import them forever into your own ThinkorSwim application.